All right. And welcome to Assets and Algorithms, the podcast where we explore the intersection of real estate and technology. Today, I have Suneet with me from Best Sac Home Group, as well as the Reside platform. Thank you for joining me, Suneet.
Thanks, Derek. I'm looking forward to it, man. Gonna have a good show.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. So, I want to jump right in and ask you to share a bit about your role and how it fits into the bigger picture at your company.
Yeah, sure. I've been licensed now for 11 years. My sixth year as a full-time realtor, my team was the most selling team in the entire state of California for units and volume. I've been number one in Sacramento for most homes sold for ever since. So what, the last 5 years, number one by a lot. Like a couple 100% over number two. Where our last ranking, we were number six in the state of California just last year, and I'm good with it. I've been number one. No one's hit my record. I did over 1 billion in a year, and a couple thousand. No one's done that yet, even number one this year. So I'm all good. That success turned into a really great like team leader coaching business, and then the coaching turned into Reside platform, which is a consulting platform for our team leaders and brokerages that really helps them scale their business into more productive teams, increase in income. And I think the most important thing is like an increase in time. And the true definition of scale, not like working more just to work more, right? But working more, more to get more freedom. That's a big thing for me, right? So many people in the real estate industry, they sacrifice so much hustling those sales. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, I know what that feels like, and I don't want people to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I 100% agree, right? Real estate is definitely such a hustle business that being able to put systems in so that you get your time back and you're able to spend that with family or just regenerating and reconnecting is always great.
Just spend time not at work, right? So
Exactly. So congratulations on all of that success and being able to help people be more successful as well. I'd love to hear about what a typical day looks like for you. How are you interacting with technology in your business and things of that nature?
sure. So my team is let me rephrase that. Across all my businesses, we are very tech enabled. Many of the big CRMs and IDX website providers over the years in real estate space have put my face on the website, like Follow Up Boss, for example, one of the bigger ones, because I'm well known as being a tech and systems guy, right? My day these days, like the first piece of tech I use every day will be Notion, where I do my morning journal, right? Then I use an app for my workout. I track my macros, and it's super interesting. So I don't know if you knew this, Derek, but the very first AI course in the real estate field I wrote in November of 2023, right? The same week that Chat GPT came out. It's called the AI Powered Agent One. We've done a couple of iterations since.
Mhm.
I have either a Claude bot open on my phone, Chat GPT as a personal assistant on my phone, open all day. I'm constantly logging. I'm a real big like journal and intention and calendar type person. I'm just very
Mhm.
structured. So only way you can do all the stuff that I do is because you need to have a lot of structure. And I'm always like adjusting that into different bots I have built, whether it's in Claude or whether it's in Chat GPT, different bots to help me optimize myself more. So, dude, I'm plugged in, right? Like for I own Reside, I own my team. I also have my LPT downline. I also have my mortgage company. I also got my coaching and other marketing projects, my podcast, right? And we use task management software for all of that. So I think everybody needs task management software. I don't care where you're at in your business. Maybe it's a free Notion on your phone. Okay. I have Notion for my personal task management, but I use Monday.com for all my business task management because it allows the different stakeholders, whether it's a virtual assistant in the Philippines, whether it's my content writer in New Zealand, whether it's my assistant is sitting there in Sacramento, right? Everybody's able to communicate and manage tasks and projects, even if it's order me some damn groceries, right? Everyone's able to coordinate on that without depending on email, without depending on text message. So I really like that.
Awesome, man. It sounds like you're doing a ton with a few different tools optimizing
I
your
have way
day.
more. I have way more if you want to talk about it.
I believe you, man. But what I really liked that you highlighted is the report you did on AI with agents, man. That sounds awesome, and I'm glad you were first to market with that. Tell me a little bit about that because it sounds like you see that being one of the major shifts in the market and in the industry right now.
So there's so many different ways to leverage AI across different streams of your business. A way that I really like that's revolutionary right now is we have determined the buying characteristics of every closed escrow in our CRM, every closed deal in our CRM follow boss. So we take the first party data, meaning how much they've interacted with our website, our emails, our text messages. And then we've obtained, because you can buy this, their third party data. Were they going to Lowe's when they were looking at a house? Were they surfing on Target website, right? Like you can pull that consumer data. I hate to tell everybody out there, but your stuff ain't private, all right? Like you can pull it every time that you hit a cookie, you're basically opting in, right? So we're able to take that data and run it against our database and score the leads on likelihood to transact.
Mm,
Okay. Ain't no one doing that. Something else that we just rolled out with ain't no one doing first party and third data and first party data and third party data married. Many systems do the first party data. Barely any do the first and third party data. We recently rolled out a program that I'm not affiliated with called House Whisperer, and it's an AI bot. I don't know what it's built on. Probably Claude or Chat GPT, and it lives inside the follow up boss account. So it communicates via text with you, the lead holder, and the follow up boss account holder. I have 100 seats for all my agents, and you're able to update the lead and make plans with the lead, and all via texting like this Chat GPT bot in your phone, right?
wow.
So it is pretty sweet. So those are some like more high level things that most real estate professionals don't think about when they think about AI. They just think about asking Chat GPT to like pull them up a map or write a Facebook post. And look, if that's the only context that you're using AI in, great,
Mm,
right? I'm not asking anybody out there. And I think it's will be a waste of many people's time to go into the rabbit hole of becoming an AI expert. My advice, and I learned this from one of my mentors, Perry Belcher, my advice is simple: learn enough to be dangerous and then leverage third party labor that's tech enabled, freelance labor that's tech enabled. Right. If
mm.
you get the idea and you find the people that can put it into reality, sky's the limit, bro. Right. So that's what we've done. I've also become an expert because I'm a geeky guy, but I train my VAs and now I have a custom bot or a custom GPT or a custom workflow, which is like maybe 10 different bots chained with to each other with different
Mhm.
LLMs, different models, and we're able to really do a lot of stuff, dude. A lot.
Yeah, man. I already, I have a great idea of the power of AI. We leverage it a ton here at AI Smarter. I love that you're an early adapter, right? And the message is, even if you're using it for some basic things and you see the power in how it can help you with things that you mentioned, like Facebook posts and, mapping certain things out, it has a ton of upside that people aren't necessarily exploring yet. And I love that you're talking about that right now. I'm sure that that's part of what Reside does, right? So I want to pivot a little bit into how that integration of Reside and the technology has impacted your team's efficiency and the clients as well.
Sure. So, Reside being a platform, it's called a platform, but it's a consulting company. We leverage Follow Up Boss because it's the best in class for CRM. We leverage Sierra and Ylopo. Ylopo is one of the forefront people for bringing AI to the real estate space with their voice calling bots. They've been first to market with lots of those things in the real estate space. So I do provide all my clients my very best bots. Like I have a sick newsletter bot that'll write all the newsletters you want for the whole year and actually be read, and actually your audience will actually like it. And here's a hint: it's not all about real estate. It's about local stuff, and it'll research everything and put it all together and put it on the blog and make a teaser article for your newsletter. So I think for us more, it's like, for example, literally as we're on the phone or as we're doing this recording, my director of ops at Reside just sent me a text because we're taking all of the courses that we've done over the years. And I mean, these are courses we've charged $2,000 to $5,000 for over the years. We're taking all of them and creating custom bots trained not on the internet, but trained on only what is in the knowledge base of the course. So if you have a question about recruiting, well, I have, 6 hours of recruiting courses I've done, bunch of ebooks I've done, all loaded into the bot, and they can reference it, right? So it's those kind of things, which is really cool about the internet and really cool about AI now, is just making more specialized information more easily accessible for the user.
Right. Yeah, I love that, man. Using what you know to be able to train AI and create a bot that makes the information more accessible, makes it more, makes it usable and more digestible for others to apply and get that value out of it. I love it, man.
Especially when you limit it, right? Is limited just to the knowledge base. Is
Right.
not the whole internet. And that's when most AI will start to hallucinate. But if you
Right.
limit the knowledge base, it's going to only pull from there. And we've gotten very good results. I mean, I just got a new bot on elite agent onboarding done 2 minutes ago while we were doing this Zoom, right? So
Awesome, man. Awesome. I love to hear that, man. So I want to pivot really quickly and ask how has, and you talked about this a little bit, but how has technology impacted your business growth strategy and how have you implemented?
sure. So when I first got, like, dude, I've been a realtor for 11 years, and 6 years in, I was number one in the friggin' sixth biggest economy in the world. Like, that's some shit, right? And look, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that to hopefully inspire somebody to see what's possible. And I'll tell you, is the way I did it is by implementing systems and processes, right? And by marketing and marketing online, right? So I've always had a CRM. I've always had the MLS. You talk to some old school agents, they're all, remember when the MLS was a book? No, bro. I started, I started on the internet, like probably many of your listeners too. But I always used like social media. I learned how to do Facebook ads, right? Like myself, not telling anybody they need to learn how to do that, but that was something I learned how to do, right? So I became very tech enabled. And I think the big thing too is for everybody listening, regardless of industry, is I tested everything, right? I never got stuck and said, well, this is it. I kept a really open mind, man. And I tested and I reiterated. If I didn't like something, then I would like move on into something else. So that's really what did it for us.
Listen, man, I appreciate that insight because when I came in, it was the same. Right? A lot of people were using antiquated systems, and like you mentioned, MLS is a bit clunky in itself. But being able to test everything, like implementing CRMs, like we spoke about, implementing, cadences and different types of research, all of that helps and adds to the growth and marketing. Like you mentioned, Facebook ads versus print ads, right? I'm pretty sure the results have shown now to be exponential with Facebook ads. So being an early adapter definitely helps. And it sounds like a ton of it has worked well for you. I want to ask you a little bit about what's been frustrating, if you can.
Yeah, I mean, well, the frustrating stuff is the stuff you allow to frustrate you, right? Like, here's the thing is there's a solution to any problem in the realm of what's realistic, right? Like, don't ask me about how to make a unicorn, right? But like, if you have a problem, there is a solution. And I'm sure there's been times that I've been frustrated. However, there's nothing that can remember because it inspired me to find a solution. Like I
Right.
remember thinking back, like let's go back. Like my second CRM was the biggest one at the time, and it was Top Producer. And I don't know if you ever saw that CRM, but it used to be the main one. And bro, it was like built on DOS. And if you don't know what DOS is, it's an ancient programming language, right? And that thing was very clunky. So as soon as I had it, I got the hell out of there and got the newest thing, and my frustration was gone. I can remember you asking me this question, so now it's starting to come back. But I was sitting in this like my little home office at the time at my old house, little small room, just trying to get whatever work I could. You know the hustle,
Uh-huh.
right? This shit just not wouldn't work, like no matter what. So what did I do? I found something that worked. And guess what? It's a wide open market, right? There's a blue ocean of things out there. And I went
Mhm.
in and I tested and I learned from people who were where I wanted to be. And I
Mhm.
got the stuff that actually worked.
I think there's definitely a lesson in there, right? Frustrating things are gonna pop up. You gotta take them in stride and move on to the next thing and get your wins and collect them. And make sure that those motivate you as well. I love to talk a little bit about some of your metrics, right? So you talked about some of the more clunky things that may have not worked. When you find something that does work, what metrics are you most focused on that shows you it's working, and how do you improve those?
I mean, for a lot of the tech where it is measuring effectiveness, I think the main thing to look for is efficiency.
Mm,
So has it created more steps in the process?
mhm.
Has it eliminated steps in the process?
Right.
And look, I mean, dude, I don't have an opening on my calendar for like 4 weeks, right? So if I'm doing something like I want it high level and I want it quick, if it can lighten whatever process and make it easier, then I'm going to go all in. Like it's easy with marketing because you look at ROI, but in this,
Mm,
you really just have to look at, you know, am I saving time? Right?
right.
Your ROI is your return on time.
Right. Yeah, I love that answer, because that's the purpose of technology to save time or save money, right? And help that efficiency, drive that efficiency. So
Yeah,
beautiful.
absolutely.
So AI is moving quick, and we talked about ways that you're implemented, ways that, in the upside that it has. Um I'd like to hear what you think the next 6 to 12 months looks like and how that technology relates to the industry.
I think we are just beginning to scratch the surface on AI-enabled technology for the real estate space. That House Whisperer product that I talked about, that's opening up a lot of opportunities as far as creating a bot that'll crawl inside of your CRM and look at your leads and reply back to you in real time via Twilio SMS, right? Like that's some new stuff. I think voice bots, I don't think that they're good yet. And I think that voice bots making outbound calls, well, the FTC doesn't like that. I think that voice calls for incoming calls now is okay. I tested an outbound calling. When a lead came in, the AI voice would call it. I tested that versus my team of VAs. The
Hmm.
bot cost the same as five VAs, and the five VAs ran circles around the bot. When dealing with sales, the human interaction piece needs to be on standby. So maybe it is the VAs watching the bots do the work. Maybe that's
Hmm.
coming up. But I'll tell you this, and this is why everybody listening needs to pay very close attention. There will be a time in the not too far future where when a consumer wants to look at a home or find out what their house is worth, they're going to say, "Hey Siri, hey Alexa, I want to find some houses for sale in Sacramento around this school for around this price with this amount of square footage, bedrooms and baths." Siri picked that up. Can you schedule me a tour for three houses? That is not far off. In
Hmm.
fact, when the Chat GPT plugins first came in, the first one, right, was a one for Zillow and one for Redfin. So they already saw it. So the question I have for everybody listening, and the thing that you need to ask yourself very closely is how are you going to rank when that AI SEO comes out? Right. And if you don't even
Yeah.
have your Google My Business done, bro, or you don't have any kind of content out there at all, you might be buried. You know what? Sorry about your luck. More for me.
Yeah, I agree. I had a conversation on this podcast with one of the founders of Bramble, and we talked a little bit about the adoption of these LLMs and some of the chatbots and Alexa and Siri, where the optimization of the content that we create for those platforms is really going to change the way that marketing is done and that the consumers, look to start their searches for anything, right? Especially real estate and some of the larger assets that they purchase during their time.
Everything,
So
how they search for everything, right?
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. From groceries, like you mentioned, to, anything, right? Uber Eats, even from that perspective.
Yeah.
So also you mentioned the VAs watching the bots may be a solution. And I think that that's one of the main narratives that needs to change. A lot of people are having conversations around AI replacing people. And I think that AI will enhance what people are able to do rather
100%.
than place it.
And
Yeah.
maybe you need less people, right? But
Mhm,
like so for example, I have 5 virtual assistants in the Philippines who act as ISAs, right?
mhm,
Inside sales agents. Mind you, I used to have 5 people here in Sacramento acting as ISAs. Each one cost 5 times as much as one person,
mhm,
and the VAs ran circles around them.
mhm,
Right?
mhm.
So I tested it up against them.
Yeah.
They ran circles around it today.
Right, right. And look, like you said, today, um, you know, 2 years ago when ChatGPT was first released, who knew that we would have AI bots that can actually make voice calls? So those leaps and
Yeah.
bounds are serious, and who's to say where they'll be in the next 2 years? But today, I definitely agree that we still need that human touch, and it's going to be very important, especially in real estate, because it is a human relationship business. So, last question before I let you go. If you could solve one major challenge today, what would it be?
For real estate agents,
Yeah.
man, I would give you guys some hope and some
Mm,
balls, right? Like, many people are having a hard time with certain market conditions, and I understand it. And I'm not impervious to these things either. But if
mhm.
you walk around like a loser and you don't have hope, you're not going to get, like, you have to have hope to get anything. Have gratitude for what you have, right? Like, and really just get to work or
I,
give up, give up.
I get you, man. I think gratitude is a great piece to focus on if you're, running into a ton of troubles. Like you mentioned earlier, you run into frustrations, you gotta muscle up and push through it because there's definitely a lot of changes coming and a lot of opportunity comes with change. So
Absolutely, man.
I'd love to take this time to ask you if you want to provide any contact information, if anybody wants to reach out to you, talk to you about anything we spoke about, buy a house, anything like that. Where can they find you?
For sure. You know, the best place to hit me is on Instagram, Suneet underscore Agarwal 916. If you could leave it in the show notes for me, Derek. And then SuneetAgarwal.com is my website. If you Google Suneet Agarwal, there's going to be 2 people. One is a Harvard like professor, and one is me, a California real estate guy. So you'll be able to figure out which one's which. But yeah, we'd love to help. Your referrals in Sacramento are pretty much all of Northern California. And if you're a team leader looking to really scale your business, we got something for you too. So find me and hit me up.
Great. Thank you for taking the time to join me today, Suneet. And that's another episode of Assets and Algorithms.
Right on, Derek. Thanks, man.